Let's show where we are in the narrative. Brian, an influential writer. Many of your creations have both made it to the screen and or have influenced what was put up on the screen. And it started off here. And I have to tell you, I'm proud that I was early in discovering your work. Caliber was one of the companies that was sending us comps, and this immediately spoke to me. And I just thought, like, wow, here is somebody who's speaking that language of hard-boiled noir storytelling. You took it seriously, but of course, at that time, you drew a lot of it yourself, which
I drew all of those. That
it was
you're looking at.
amazing. And it's funny. You kind of learned how to draw. You built up this portfolio, and then you ended up working with the greatest artists on the planet, and didn't have to draw anymore as much.
Yeah, it worked out that way. It's very interesting, but I will say, drawing all of these books as I did and trying to like fight my way through figuring out a style and all that, though I was doing it just to tell the story, it ended up being the best thing for me. So when I started collaborating for realsies with all these wonderful artists, some of which matched my aesthetic perfectly, some of which were completely different, I was able to communicate myself in a way I don't think I would have been able to if I hadn't drawn hundreds of pages myself. And also I found, like, even walking into the halls of Marvel, like, I didn't know it at the time, but they started talking to me with a lot of like respect that I was unfamiliar with. And someone had said to me, one of the editors had said, well, it's because you can do it all. And I go, what do you mean? They go, well, you can letter, you can color, I go, yeah, but not great. They go, yeah, but you can do it. And that makes your communication level much higher. So I was speaking with respect to people on a level because I did respect them, and it was coming back to me. So it all worked out. I tell people who want to write for a living, yeah, go draw too. Go. Even if you can't, even if it's stick figures, go learn about the real estate of the page. Go figure out how much stuff you can fit on a page without it looking like crap, And then I also equate it to how many of my favorite directors are also accomplished actors, and not the actors who became directors, but directors who became actors, like Scorsese and Sidney Pollack, where they started taking acting lessons because they wanted to speak to their actors in the language they understood, and then became obsessed with that form as well. Taika Waititi is a more modern example, whereas like it became part of their language. And I think that that's part of what's inside me, is that the artist in me represents itself in the writing.
And what you were doing was figuring out what worked on the page. And we find that the greatest artists of our generation are extremely intelligent and great at solving problems. They might not be able to explain what they do always, but you give them a problem on the page whenever you write a script, and then they solve that problem.
It's puzzle work. I mean, when I'm doing Legos or puzzle work, it feels the same. Like the same part of my brain is being poked at. So yeah, I agree with you.
But what's great about this is this was the launch pad for what is, I think, the third publishing of this book. Is that right?
Oh no, it's on not to be braggy. It's like the eighth
Wow.
edition of this. It's constantly being in print since it came out, and we were talking a little bit about this before we went on the air. It was, I did these other comics, and they were able to sustain themselves, but Fortune and Glory was the first time that I really put myself out there, like, and people responded like on a personal level. Like, that's a very different thing than here's a story and I'm sharing it with you. It's like, here's some happened to me, and then people write me back, yeah, that happened to me too, and I know exactly who that dude is. Or even if it was really interesting too, there are Hollywood people that responded to it, but there are also people who had just been in meetings. It was just like a testament to the meeting we've all been in, where I thought I was in this meeting for one reason, I'm in the meeting for another reason. Doesn't even matter what the meeting's about. Can we just not do the meeting? Like, can we just not continue this conversation? So that emotion seemed to really help people through some stuff. And that was,
when I reread this, Brian, it made me feel so much better about all the times that my options the phone stopped ringing. Mike, is legitimately working in Hollywood as a screenwriter. It took me, what is it? Was your agents, Mike? Managers who basically, I don't know, we took a meeting, they complimented me a lot, and then we never heard from them again, right? They were very complimentary. They gave me water and everything.
Oh yeah, you hear the best compliments in your whole life. You're like, it fills you up, and then you go home and go, oh, that wasn't true.
Yeah, but I believed it to be true. Mike was like, don't take it to just, I'm like, but Mike, I'm walking on a cloud here. I might get my photo with the Hollywood sign. It didn't.
Like you're never going to hear from them again.
I never heard from them again.
Yep. And again, that was something like I was in this space in my head where I'm just making the book because I had been through a lot of things that didn't pan out. I didn't understand them. I didn't really understand the world I was walking into, and I was frustrated by it. So I'm just going to write about that. I'm just going to like use my tools and work it out for myself. And to think that everyone else can relate to this wasn't in my head. It was just I'm going to blow off my steam. And then when I put it out, I said, "Oh, I'm deeply relating to people. What an experience!" And so I was so glad that I did it, and that 100% informed the choices I made going forward.